Hi there, my name is Kaylee.
My name is Shay.
And we're tackling some big debt
in the Big Apple.
Hello and happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
We are here to discuss
vacations.
Vacations.
Yes.
Spending for vacations.
Mm-hmm.
Planning for vacations.
Mm-hmm.
YNAB vacations. I feel like I'm filling out like hashtags on an Instagram post. YNAB vacation, LGBT vacation, New York City vacation. Yeah, this is how we handle vacation spending. It has changed constantly throughout the time that we've been
it is like, ever evolving.
It is ever evolving for sure. And so we've had some iterations, but I think you can see like the pieces that we've carried forward in each variation of what we've been doing. So let's take a look at where we started and where we are now. Mm-hmm. So people who have been watching the channel for a while have seen this before. What are you doing? Because we just started really doing finances together like last summer, I'd say, like right around June 2023.
Yes.
So the way that we were planning and saving for vacations was separate. Shay was not using YNAB. I've been using YNAB.
No, this was part of my monthly budget spreadsheets. Yeah.
We would just sit down and plan out every single thing we wanted to do or the thing we thought we might do. I think this one we really nailed down because we sat and planned and like we wrote out how much these things were going to cost. And then what are they doing? Stop touching it. Stop. You see his foot appearing. And so this is generally, I mean, sometimes this is kind of still how we plan for vacations. Mm-hmm. And not kind of, in that it's exactly still how we plan for vacation. And this all happens in Excel because we change it constantly and it's not like a YNAB thing and we just go online like this. We did a staycation in the city where we live, which is New York City, as stated in our little intro. We just looked up how much everything would cost to go to it.
Mm-hmm. And we did our best to estimate. And I think probably one of the important things to note about this is that this was, I think for both of us, the first time in our lives when we were able to consistently be taking vacations.
Mm-hmm. So we're not good at vacation yet, I would say.
So at this point, we weren't good at vacation, and the only way that we could possibly think to plan out how much to save was to item by item as precisely as possible price everything out beforehand.
Yeah, and then I think the thing that I was going to say butt heads, but I don't know that it's butt heads about, is that I always want to estimate weirdly high. And Shay is always like, no, it says it costs this amount of money. Put down this amount of money. And I'm like, no, it's going to add $500 to those movie tickets. Like, I always want to estimate really high. Mm-hmm. And I would just like to say that our Pride staycation, we were $400 over budget.
Yeah, we went $400 over budget. But then we were able to use this information to say, okay, when we're taking a vacation and we're not paying for lodging, this is how much we spend on life.
We love to spend.
Yeah.
This is an example of one that we had no idea how much it was going to cost. Mm-hmm. None. So we just wrote down what we were spending. Mm-hmm. So that way we know when we go on a cruise, I cannot stress enough. This is a cruise that it was paid for. This is a cruise that was paid for.
Yeah.
So this is how much we know to plan for if we're going on another cruise, which I don't think we will.
No.
Because it was very expensive. This is the one that was really... We're normally better at planning for trips and vacations and things, but this one we just like saved a bunch of money with no idea what we were going to do with it.
Yeah. And you were going through something. You were panicking about everything.
So I was just shoveling money.
In terms of our finances.
That's fair. I do that sometimes.
I was like, everything is fine. We have enough money for the things that we need to do. And you were like, no, actually we don't.
And then I ended up spending less than we budgeted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This was kind of our low effort, high impact planning and then just tracking how much it costs. So we have a general idea of how much we spend on trips. Mm-hmm. Obviously every trip and every vacation is all different.
But I think you could see that like if we
save like $1,500
based on these,
we'll be fine. Depending on what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because I would say most of our trips have a similar vibe. We're either in a city doing things or we are in California because that's where my family lives. So knowing how much this part especially costs is very handy because we make this kind of trip to go visit and spend time with my family like once a year minimum, sometimes more than once. So knowing that about how much that costs is good. And so now we needed to make this budgetable in YNAB. So we can take a look at how we decided on that. So we save an amount every month towards our vacation travel category. And we decided on that number by looking at last year, January 2023 to December 2023. And then we went to expenses. Boop. We don't need all these open. Gifts and giving. Vacation. And then so you can see that we'll go many months with no spending, and then many spending, and then no spending. What was this? Oh, that was the cruise. And then no spending, little spending, prepping for a trip, big spending. Like, so budgeting that, we were like, I don't even know what to do because we have, you spend $1,500 one month and not. So we just we scroll all the way over, and YNAB reporting gives you an average. So we saw that we spent on average last year about $315.16 a month on traveling. And then we we knew that this year was not going to be as travel heavy for us. Like, we weren't going on that cruise again. And we had a lot going on, so we were going to be mostly home. So we thought like $300 felt reasonable. Yeah. So when you look at our current budget, current state, this is what our vacation line looks like. Travel needs $300 a month, and that's where that number came from. As we looked at last year's spending, it averaged it all out for us. We're not good at math. Thanks, YNAB. So it said we decided $300 a month is generally what we spend. And then we wrote out all the trips that we have upcoming that we know about. We're going to California again this upcoming, soon, in like 2 weeks. Yeah. And so what you'll notice, though, is that we said $1,200 is what we normally spend, but this is our wedding shower. So my sister is very insistent that she's going to pay for some things while we're traveling. So we feel like $750. We just kind of ballpark, honestly. We just kind of ballpark. We've also got our fun money. We've also got lots of other things. So
yeah, I think that's the thing that has helped us become a little bit more realistic about where payment for various things is coming from, because I think our original goal was to save up for a vacation and then have that vacation money pay for everything, including things that we have to get anyway for life, groceries and,
Yeah, because we also found ourselves like eating out a lot on vacation because we were like, it's vacation. But actually, this California trip, I think, is a great example of what this, like, the way of making vacation not seem like it's like exorbitant spending. We were going to be in California at my sister's house for 1 full week. So when we're at home for 1 full week, we buy groceries and we make food at home and eat that food. So we are also going to do that. We'll probably eat out more than usual, and we'll probably go do things more than usual because we're going to be home with family. But also, it's like $750 plus our weekly $125. Plus our regular, like, we have regular eating out money and all this stuff that
we can still pull from.
And we can still...
Because we don't stop living life.
We don't stop living life. And I think that's the way that I've been personally, like, that was the hang up for me, is that I was treating these vacations specifically, like our honeymoon in Maine, that's all travel. We're not going to cook at home. We're not going to, like, that's a big vacation. But I think I was conflating these trips home to go be with family as like big expenditures when they don't need to be. Yeah. That's why I think we've dropped it down a bit from what we were spending before. And because this isn't that kind of trip. This is a working vacation. Yeah. Which is a new thing for us. We've also never done a work from home from my sister's house trip before. So I also think it's going to be a little more low key. So I think this one will be a learning trip. Tuck's graduation. Shay's younger brother, Tucker, is graduating from college, and we're going to go spend 2 days in Saratoga, New York. Her mom paid for the hotel room because we're all going. And all we need to do is rent a car and get there and maybe eat something.
Yes.
So I feel like $300 is probably actually overkill, but that's fine. I'm fine with overkill. You know me. And then we've got our honeymoon. This is our general working for the sake of our budget and keeping it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it gets too crazy and we try to price out every single thing we're going to do on vacation, I think our heads would explode.
Yes.
I know that that works for some people where they have like a different category or group for every single trip and they budget out for hotel, flights, this, that, the other. I can't. I personally am physically unable. I will throw up. Mm-hmm. So we keep it pretty simple, but then we still kind of go back to that planning, and we just don't do it on YNAB. So if you look here, this is our betrothal dashboard because we love Excel and Google Sheets.
We do.
Our plan is to go to Booth Bay Harbor, Maine for 1 week in July after the wedding. Mm-hmm. We went in, we priced out how much everything's going to cost, ballpark, rounded up.
Yep.
Put deposits down on the things that we could. So like the car is booked, the hotel's booked. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we save up all of the things into this trip. Mm-hmm. And then when we're on, like, for example, we'll go on this trip, any vacation related fund or any vacation related spending will go into this category. Mm-hmm. And then we will get home and everything will be settled. And you may be thinking, well, now what the heck do you do with that category? There's just this old category sitting in your budget. Mm-hmm. For a while, I was rolling California trips all into one category and just changing the name of it. But that got a little annoying.
And confusing.
And confusing because it's like, you spent on this California trip, but which California? Because sometimes I go and I just go stay in my sister's house and I spend a week there and I hang out. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we go to the beach for a week, and sometimes we go to freaking Disneyland, and sometimes we're going for like family obligations. Like I went for a funeral like a while back, like these things. And so knowing what it was about in the moment is a little better. But then I found that kind of after that, it becomes general travel. Mm-hmm. For now, I think I'll probably want to break it out more later when we have more money to allocate for this, and then the traveling is different. But for now, we just get home and then we delete this category. If I click delete, is this going to ruin everything? No. So if there was spending, when I click that, it would ask where to recategorize that spending. Mm-hmm. And YNAB does that because that still happened. All the money still happened. All the things came in and out of your budget. Mm-hmm. And so it wants to know where to put it. So then you would put it, here's an example. This obviously isn't vacation, but it's something that we spent from. So it's going to say, you had transactions sometime in the last, year since I made this budget. Where do you want it to go? And for travel, we would just go down and we have this general travel category. And it just like lives in there. Mm-hmm. And then now I know when I go to next year and I want to look, okay, how much should we spend on travel in 2024 on average per month? Hopefully about $300 because that's what we budgeted. Mm-hmm. And then it will know that. But with the way that we are traveling right now, it doesn't really matter what it was on. Mm-hmm. I like to think that maybe in the future we can break out domestic and international. We can break out the family trips to our leisure trips. Mm-hmm. But we are not there. So I think that there are many evolutions and new iterations of this to come. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to change as we change. But as you can see, we are pretty much booked through 2025 with family and friend weddings and obligations. This is it for a while, I think. I think it's working for now for sure. I don't have any needs out of it that are beyond the capability of what we have going right now.
It's been useful, all of this information that we've gathered.
Yeah, part of it was just looking at the facts. Just going back through and doing, even if it's just like a general look at your bank account, like, okay, last March we went on the trip to Utah. I've never been to Utah. That's not true. I've been in the airport. But just going through and looking at that period of time and going, okay, we spent $900 on this trip and we spent $1,800 on this trip and we spent this on this. And just we have a general understanding of how much whatever category of trip we're going to go on is going to cost. The trip to California for us is not very expensive because we stay with family, and the intent is to spend time with family and not to go do. California can get expensive. Yeah. We don't really do those things. Mm-hmm. But the trips, we're going to a wedding for one of Shay's dearest friends in Providence, Rhode Island, and we're going to want to spend extravagantly during that time and have just a wonderful time and probably make a little vacation out of it and spend time with our friends who are getting married.
Yes.
So that is going to be a trip that is going to cost money.
In a big way.
Yeah. And we want it to, because we want to spend in a big way and we want to treat them and take them out to dinner and do lots of fun little things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, knowing the category, we don't have a lot of good examples of like regular vacations. We just have a lot of weddings to go to. But like if we were planning on going on a cruise again, we know about how much a cruise is going to cost. If we were going to go on a long road trip again, we know about how much that's going to cost. So just getting kind of ballpark ideas and then just saving as much as you can. This, we're not going to spend all this money. We save general idea. We round up. I think that's a big one too, is we build our buffer into the cost of things. So our car rental is actually less than this. The lodging is a little bit less than this. We just build that buffer into every little detail, but also just having a line in the plan that says buffer $200, save above and beyond, because it's vacation and these things happen. And I have never in my life gotten home from a vacation and been like, oh, we have too much money left.
Yeah.
It's never happened to me.
No.
Never once. Yeah, we're definitely in the phase of life where there's constant trips and constant things to do and constant, but none of them are really like relaxing vacations, you know? Our honeymoon, I think, is the first one.
Be really relaxing.
It's the first one I think that we're going to go on that is with the intent of rest and relaxation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having this be called vacation and this be called travel, I think this is just, it's more travel than vacation for most of these things. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I expect it to change quite a bit in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Not in the next 2, but 3 to 5, I think is going to be the shift. We save every single month towards vacation, even if we didn't have one planned.
Yes.
I got my little brother set up with his first YNAB when he moved to New York City. Even when we were setting up his first budget on YNAB, I made sure to be like, just start saving every month, at least a little bit, because you know that some kind of travel is coming. So even my brother, who, you know, he's a barista, he doesn't make a ton of money. He's saving like $25 a month to whatever our next, you know, his next vacation, or it's probably a trip to California to see our parents. But that's the tough part. When you move across the country from your family, nobody talks about the expense of going back to see your family all the time. Yeah. It costs a lot of money. I'd say just start saving something if you can, if it's part of your budget. If it's not already part of your budget, just building in that practice of saving however much you can towards travel every month, because that is the only way that we've been able to really make it work, is saving every month, even though we're only traveling 2 of them, you know? 2 travel trips home to see my family, take a staycation and just hang out in our city, and then take a week off and stay with Shay's parents. But having the funds to do those things when they come up and are available.
It's really nice.
For example, my brother-in-law last year was like, we should go wine tasting. Maybe we should all go wine tasting if you wanted to come wine tasting. And then he proposed, you know? Yeah. So having those funds available and kind of flexible to make those decisions when those things come up, especially being so far away, has been a game changer for us. You know, $300 is a lot and also not a lot at the same time when it comes to travel. So it is a lot of money in the grand scheme of life, and we're not like ignorant of that's a lot of money in the grand scheme of life. But also when you're wanting to go see family more than 2 weeks out of the entire year, that money goes fast.
It does.
So I think that's why we both are wanting to up that budget a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's hard to go see family more than twice a year and also pay off all your student loans.
Yes. We're making it work.
We're making it work. I think that's the status of this entire video, is this is how we make it work.
Yeah.
There we go.
In a big way.
It took us 20 minutes to figure that out, but we got there.
Cool.
That's a little wacky runaround version of what we got going on right now. That's current state of vacation. I fully expect it to change later. And we usually like to do a little vacation recap after we take a regular vacation. After we go home to California, it's not that fun to recap because we're just like, we were in my sister's house and we made spaghetti. But after our honeymoon, for sure, we'll do a breakdown of everything we spent, where all the money went, how we did on the budget. But for now, that's all we got.
Yes.
And we will see you on Friday.
Yes.
Yay.
You love these.